Greetings, people of the internet. I am Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And we create comics. A lot of times we create comics because this is the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, where we spend at least 30 minutes a day, every day, working on our own personal comic book project. My project is this one here. This is the current issue. This is issue 3. I've got 2 previous issues. I guess if I have issue 3, then there must be 2 other ones. That only makes sense. So I am working on issue 4 right now as part of this challenge. But the first 3 issues are available at Serkworks.com. It's a kids versus zombie story. It's kind of in the vein of like Goonies and Monster Squad, and or if you like a more modern version, if you like Stranger Things, you'll probably dig this. It takes place in the 80s. And it's just kind of a throwback. It's my homage to those type of movies. But you know, it's kids fighting zombies and a lot of fun. And comics, they have to be a lot of fun, because if they weren't, no one would ever create anything. Because the thing about comics is it's a labor of love. I mean, there's not very much respect given to, you know, people who create comics. They don't pay very well, so it has to be this sort of labor of love. And you know, just at least here in the States, in the United States, and a lot of, you know, even international people that I talk to, it seems like it's kind of the same thing, where, you know, usually, you know, there are some people that can make a decent living selling comics, but even a lot of people that work for Marvel and DC, and they're, you know, a lot of times they're doing other stuff on the side, other illustration and stuff, to kind of, because, you know, like I said, comic books is just, people do it because they love it. And unfortunately, it's like one of the hardest things to do in art, but yet it, you know, monetarily, or just, you know, trying to make a living at it is just really hard. But, you know, there is, believe it or not, there is a place where people actually respect cartoonists and comic book creators, and that's a place called France. And I have been to France, and you know, it's a very, very cool country. And but they actually hold their cartoonists and their comic book artists in very high regard. So I thought today, before I get into you know, showing the process of my comic book, I wanted to show you a couple of my favorite French comic books, and just kind of do a little book recommendation. So the first one I want to show you is called 3 Shadows. It's by Sarah Pedrosa, I believe. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But this is just a beautiful book. Everything from the artwork to the way it's put together. It was originally, like I said, it's a French comic, so it was originally done in French. But First Second, a great comic book publisher, has kind of reissued it in English. And man, everything from just like I said, the way it's designed, it's got kind of the, I don't know what you call the technique with the kind of torn edge paper, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. But it's a very heavy story. It's very serious, but the, you know, like the cartooning is just so fun and beautiful, but the subject matter is pretty deep, because it deals with the loss of a child, it deals with fate, and it's kind of this idea how you can't escape your fate. But it just really is a beautiful, beautiful story, from everything from the artwork. I just love the sketchiness and just the look of the characters. And then, you know, like I said, it does get dark, and but it's just a very beautiful book, and I highly, highly recommend it. 3 Shadows. Another French book. Now, you guys may be familiar with this more from the movie, which kind of became, it's sort of like a cult classic now. It's kind of one of these underground independent films that kind of got a lot of acclaim and everything. It was a great movie, and the comic book is really good too. So Snowpiercer, I've got the first two volumes here, so these volumes are very different. And what's weird is I kind of do a double take when I'm reading these, because the artwork, it's the same artist, two different authors wrote both each issue of the book, or each volume of the book. But we look at the artists, they look like they're almost totally different artists. Like, let me show you this. So this is the first one, and I kind of think I like the first volume better as far as the artwork, but you know, that's just my personal taste. But you can kind of see what it looks like here. And it's basically the idea that this, you know, after this apocalypse or whatever, this train, it just keeps traveling around the world, and you know, it's like sort of like the new ice age and everything, and there's different classes in these train cars. If you don't want to check out the book, check out the movie. The movie's really good too if you haven't already. But anyway, so here's, you know, that'll kind of give you an idea of the look of the first book. Now the second book, like I said, it's the same artist, but the style is totally different. It's more of a, you know, there's more like color washes, and it just looks very, very different than the first one. So I'm interested to know kind of why the different approach and everything. I mean, the artwork's nice here too, but I don't know, it's very different, and like I said, it's the same artist. So a couple of my favorite like French comic books. If you've got some international comic books that you would recommend, let me know. Those are some of mine. But we got to get back before we go to the paralleloscope up here and see what's going on with the process of Young and the Dead. We got to figure out where we are in this challenge. So we are at day, where are we at? I think we're at day 53. So hopefully I'm right. And that's why we write this down so we don't forget. Day 53, we got the big fat Sharpie, the big pad of paper. We jot that down so we know where we're at. So we're at day 53. But yeah, so without any further delay, I want to get right up here to the paralleloscope and check out, see what's going on with the process of 100 Days of Making Comics. Young and the Dead, issue 4. Let's go to it. All right, yesterday I worked, did the digital pencils in Manga Studio for page 3. And so what my plan was to put that on a disc, take it to work and print it out, you know, run this paper through the printer at work, print the blue lines on here. But I don't work today, and I don't want to, you know, I gotta move forward. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it to like a copy place. I'm gonna have to print it out. I guess I'll have to print it out. I'll have to adjust the levels or whatever and bring it up in Photoshop and print it out in black and then trace it. Now my printer should print black. The only issue is I unplugged it. I tried to plug in a different printer, and now it's just, I think right now it's just gonna be easier if I just take this somewhere, have that printed out, and then come back here on this, which is actually a light table. I can't even really see the difference here. It's a light table, trust me. So then I'm gonna trace that on there, and then go over and kind of do the pencils. So it's a little bit of a roundabout. It takes a little more time. But rather than waiting until Monday, that's what I'm gonna do. Now, the good thing is I did get this print head cleaner kit, so hopefully I'll have time this weekend to get the printer working and everything, and this won't be an issue anymore, which will be awesome. Fingers crossed that this works out. But that's what I'm gonna do today, and I'll come back here and I'll put in my 30 minutes penciling, and yeah, so let's go on to the next thing.
I don't know if that's overkill.
I think
Stop
that's overkill.
laughing at me.
That's overkill.
Are you taking a video of this?
Yeah, well, watching you. Yeah, let's shuffle them.
Watching you. Watching me.
Can't do that?
Maybe I can get a job dealing in a casino.
We do have a
Probably
casino.
is.
We have a couple casinos.
You keep them down the whole side.
I think you can look that up.
Can or can't?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Can or
look at
can't?
them.
Yes.
7. Don't make me lose count.
Sorry.
Now, this could be incriminating though, so I don't want video.
I won't put.
Exactly.
I won't put
Does it
anything.
count if it's yourself?
Oh, me too.
All right. I have to pick a play card that someone has won and ask them to tell the story. If I believe they are not guilty of the play card, it gets removed from their winning pile.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
It's one of the
It's
two.
Which
a little
one is
hard
it?
because I could see either one.
Tom came out to me as bi, and I was like, could I feel someone who's bi? Sure, but he was on the buy now, get later plan. And you never heard
Buy now and
of
get
you never
later?
heard of the buy now, get later plan?
I don't think
So people who have, people who are
I want to hear the story.
Bye now.
So when people always have these gay feelings, but they've been dating members of the opposite sex, and they finally decide, well, maybe, I want to be truer to myself. So they're like, well, maybe I'm bisexual, so I like men and women equally. When it's not true, that's just kind of a denial and it's like a buffer period, a safe zone. When no, it's true, they just want to be with people of the same sex. So they call it the buy now, gay later plan.
Something eating ice.
There you go. She's like,
Okay,
petty,
okay,
petty.
Shh.
Okay, that will do it for another day of 100 days of making comics. So we're going to take our day 53, pull that off the big pad of paper, crumble it up, throw it in the basket, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 54 of 100 days of making comics. See you then. That is all. Hey everyone, you've seen the process. Now you can check out the story. Issues 1 through 3 of Young and the Dead are available at my website at serkworks.com. Also follow me on social media at the links listed below. Subscribe and check out some of the other videos in this series. There's much more to come.